Now I know what you're thinking. What in the hell is this game? Hey, wait a minute. Didn't I say this before? On second thought, I think I did. So a long time ago I reviewed a game called The War of the End of the Days, which was released on the Xbox 360 as part of their little indie game showcase. I went into some depth on what the Xbox Live indie games were in that review, but to recap, they were games created under Microsoft's X&A where people could create and share their own video games. Some of the more popular ones still live on to this day, such as Murder Miners and Castle Miners Z, but a large majority of them are unplayable due to the fact you can't purchase them anymore as of October 2017. Almost 5 years ago. Damn, it's been a long time. I only have a handful of these games and I thankfully still have access to them. Send in Jimmy. What a name for a game. Released in 2011 by the Stamper Brothers, Send in Jimmy is a first-person shooter where you go around shooting aliens. It's a simple concept, but isn't engaging enough to be worth the price of 80 Microsoft points? Yeah, this is back when Microsoft used points to buy shit, and I think it was like $1 or something like that, I don't really remember. During this review, I'll be making comparisons to our other lovely game on the Xbox Live indie games, The War of the End of the Days. They're not made by the same publisher or anything, it's just I want something else to compare it to that wasn't like a AAA game like Call of Duty or something like that. Because I don't think it's fair to compare Send in Jimmy to like Black Ops. So when you think of badass FPS protagonists, what comes to mind first? Doom Guy? Duke Nukem? BJ Blazkowicz? Maybe even Kyle Katarn? No. No. What your mind should immediately point towards is Jimmy. Jimmy is a monster among men, capable of mowing down hundreds of alien invaders with just a pistol and some fire. These other guys, fucking pussies compared to this legendary hero of FPS gaming. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's talk story first. You play as the aforementioned Jimmy, aka God, aka Jesus, sent out to do tasks by Jimmy's boss. You'll quickly find out, however, that performing these somewhat simple tasks will become a lot more rough when aliens start to show up. What do these aliens want?
Total world domination!
Yeah, I probably could have guessed that. Jimmy is a true American and won't let these alien bastards shoot up his planet. Definitely a better story in comparison to The War of the End of the Days, don't you think? This game is a shooting game in 3D. Beings of another galaxy want to conquer the Earth. Don't try to speak with them. Alright. At the start of each level, you're given a mission debriefing by your unnamed boss, who tells you either activate 3 things or pick up a new weapon. That's usually what it consists of.
Jimmy, these creatures are alien to us. Our archives have no record of them. Their physical makeup is not human, and their DNA signatures are being picked up on several landing zones. The next landing zone contains a firecaster. Your mission is to get the firecaster and determine if the aliens like heat.
After completing said task, you fight 3 new alien types who will become permanent enemies for the rest of the game. It's a very simple game containing only 6 levels. You start off with just a pistol to defend yourself from the soon-to-be hordes of alien visitors. Jimmy is pretty limited in terms of what he can do. He can walk very slowly, shoot, and turn. That's it. Your only means of defense are your gun and your hand. The pistol is self-explanatory as well as the upgraded machine gun, but Jimmy's left hand is able to shoot out freaking fire. I think one of the only genuinely cool parts of this game is how fire and explosions in general are handled. Pretty much everything in the game can catch on fire, and you can create chain reactions with explosions using the barrels lying around, as well as specific aliens. 90% of this game is you mowing down aliens, so how are they in actual combat? You can tell what alien does which according to the color of their shirt. Green shirt aliens run up close to you and clap you to death, and if that doesn't sound threatening to you, it's because it isn't. Pink shirt aliens, which act similarly, whatever. pink shirt aliens which act similar to green shirts, except they explode on death and are great for creating chain reactions with other aliens. Blue shirt and white shirt aliens have guns of their own. The difference being is that the white shirts shoot faster than the blue ones. There are also giant versions of these enemies. They act practically the same as the normal sized one except with more health and damage. While the enemy variety is decent for this game, the AI isn't. There are many instances where the aliens won't attack you, instead running into the opposite direction. They can also get stuck on the level terrain and be stuck in place until you kill them. It's pretty funny to see sometimes. Enemy spawns can also be overwhelming because the game will spawn like 20 aliens at a time, which can be brutal in the last few stages, where most of them are gun-wielding aliens. The game also does a dick move where it'll spawn enemies behind you, where in turn, you'll take unnecessary damage. If there's one thing I like in my video games, it's enemies spawning behind me. Cool. I mean, at least it's better than the War of the End of the Days, where that game had like no AI at all. The level design is pretty terrible, all things considered. It's essentially just a giant hallway with rugged hills, barrels, trees, and rocks. If you try to stray too far to the left or too far to the right, you'll get stuck on an invisible wall. It actually looks like your game locks up when you do this. The only interesting thing they do with the levels is that in level 3 and 4 they reduce your visibility. Enemies are tougher to spot, but you can spot the blue shirt aliens from afar due to the muzzle flash from their weapon. It was a neat idea for the 1.5 stages it was in. I don't know if you consider this a final boss, but the last 3 enemies you fight are giant white shirt aliens. They only appear one time and aren't too difficult to kill, so I don't know, I'll consider them a final boss. Why not? After that moment though, you get one of the greatest endings in video game history.
The human named Jimmy has defeated us at every turn. Mother will not be happy. Die and resist. No need.
Simply breathtaking. It's beautiful, wondrous even, inspiring. So the last thing to talk about is presentation. It's not good. Yeah, I know, very good observation by me. The overall aesthetic of the levels is the worst looking part of the game. I think it's supposed to represent the Earth, but where on earth does it look like this? The animation of the aliens, while admittedly very humorous, are very stiff and choppy. And do I even need to mention Jimmy's hands? I mean, this doesn't even look like a hand at first glance. Jimmy has twice the firepower, if you know what I mean. The performance can also take a dip when there are too many enemies or too much fires on screen. The game will also momentarily freeze up when it's spawning more enemies in the far off distance. So if you notice any of that during this review, it's not my fault. Blame the devs with limited resources. But you know what? I can excuse all of this, because the soundtrack of this game fucking slaps. I mean, I don't know if it holds a candle to the War of the End of the Days soundtrack, but you know, and I think it comes close. I mean, what do you guys think? So that was Sind and Jimmy. It's not a very good game per se, but I'm gonna be honest, I actually had a lot of fun playing through it again. No lie, I've probably played this game more times than I think the developers played through this game. There's something about the cheap feel to this game that makes it very charming to play. It also didn't give me a splitting headache after 5 minutes like the War of the End of the Days with its overly loud sound effects. I would recommend you play it, but sadly you're unable to purchase it anymore. I believe it's on the Internet Archive just like a majority of Xbox Live indie games, but I don't even know if it's possible to even play them anymore. Hopefully in the future these games will become available to the public again, or that someone smarter than me can find a way to make these games playable. Only time will tell, I guess. But come on, send the Jimmy HD. I'm waiting for it. Don't let me down, guys.